Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel Philosomos. My name is Fumani and today I've got another interesting topic for you as always, which is titled Mind is Matter. Now before I get into it, let me just dissect what I mean by the statement that mind is matter, because I'm sure you're wondering to yourself, how on earth can mind be matter, something that is fundamentally immaterial, the mind being something that is material, the physical world, matter. So let's just dissect the statement first. Mind being the stream of thoughts that you have within your consciousness, the stream of thoughts, pictures, images, concepts about yourself and the world around you. And then we have matter, which is everything that is physical, all physical objects, okay, things that when you touch with your skin you feel a sensation of resistance that separates your body from the apparent object. So now, for you to understand the statement mind is matter, we're gonna have to dive deeper into both these ideas, mind and matter. Let's dive first into matter. So matter is basically everything physical, as I said before. That's a conventional understanding of what matter is. But with the birth of quantum physics, they actually wanted to dive deeper into what we have colloquially called matter and accepted as reality. So they dived deeper into it and they discovered atoms. Now atoms, guys, as I've stated in my previous videos, is made up of 99.9% empty space. Okay, so basically the physical property of an atom is only 0.01%, and everything else is just empty space. But it goes even deeper, that atoms essentially are just waveforms, frequencies and vibrations being like just dancing around in the ether within the universe. So essentially that is what matter is. Now let's get down to thought, the mind. What is the mind? It's basically thoughts. That's a conventional understanding of it, the pictures and concepts that we hold in our consciousness. Now scientists now have actually investigated thoughts, and now they've discovered that thought emits a frequency out into the universe, emits a vibration out into the universe, that thoughts can actually be measured. So think about it. We've come to the same conclusion, but let me just reiterate it for you. Matter, this physical thing, is fundamentally a vibration. Thought, the mind, things that appear within our consciousness, is fundamentally a vibration. So two things, these two ideas, the mind and the matter, sorry, mind and matter, are actually comprised of the same material. They are both vibrations. That is a clear understanding that these two are actually interconnected. And to get deeper into this as well, there's a philosophical quibble, okay, basically the conflict between subjective reality and objective reality. Now, subjective reality states that the universe, the outside world, the external world, arises from my subjective experience of it. That if I were not there as an observer, the world would not be there as it is. And then the conventional understanding of the universe is the objective reality, which states that objects, the car, this marker, every single thing that is physical around me, have independent existence, that they exist despite, even if I don't observe it, they exist independently, that they are there whether or not I'm observing them. Okay, so through time we have understood that objective reality is the only way to explain this physical existence, that every single thing that I observe with my eyes, when I'm not observing it, it's actually there. But this actually it's actually funny, because there's a philosophical question in which they ask, if the tree falls in the forest with nobody there, does it make a sound? Okay, so my answer to this is no. And it's obvious, it is so obvious, that when the tree falls down, it creates a vibration, it emits a vibration out into the immediate environment. And if there are no ears to capture that, not only human ears, animals around, if there are no ears to capture that vibration and convert that vibration into sound, then it does not make a sound, it does not make a noise, because that vibration needs an ear, basically, to actually convert it into sound, into something that is known. Oh, a tree fell based on the vibration that I received within my ears. Okay, so this is not only something that is philosophical, this can actually be proven. I don't know if you've ever heard of the placebo effect, that a doctor can basically prescribe or give a patient pills and tell them that this pill will actually heal them and make them feel better about whatever it is that they're feeling at that current state. And it will actually heal them. And the patient will take that pill, and in reality, that pill only maybe has sugar or other qualities that don't have the potency to actually make a healing, to actually create healing. But the patient will actually take it and be healed. So, was it the pill? Is it the pill that's actually helping us get better? Or is it our belief that the pill will actually help us that is creating the healing? It's actually that. So our mind is actually involved, heavily involved in the healing process. That our contemporary idea of like being healed by external forces like medication or this and that, things that basically are out there that are supposed to heal us, we actually contain that within, and it's a component of the mind. Now, most people will tell me, okay, yes, true, after hearing that kind of idea existing, that kind of phenomena existing, such as a placebo effect, and say, wow, guys, the mind is powerful. And I'm gonna come here, I'm here today to tell you that the mind is not powerful. And this is going to disturb you, because this new age movement is so fixated on the idea that the mind is powerful. The mind is not powerful. Okay. If you seeing the mind as existing separate from the objective world, from the external world, and you see the mind existing as its own entity, then yes, the mind is very powerful. Very, very powerful. It's capable of actually influencing events and physical properties. But if you see the reality of it, if you actually see from the lens of truth, that the mind is reality, that whatever changes the mind makes within itself, it then perceives as an external experience. And that is why Alan Watts had the quote, and he said, reality is basically an ink blot. I'm paraphrasing it, but he said reality is an ink blot. And what an ink blot is basically a psychologist showing their patient a disfigured painting of, like, it's basically a random painting that has no particular form, it has no form of a human person, a person or an animal or an object. It's just a random painting. And then the psychologists, what they do is that they actually ask the patient, okay, what is it that you see? And then the patient will then project their ideas about themselves and about the world onto that picture, and then that gives the psychologists an understanding and a purview of their internal states, because that is what we're doing on a continuous basis. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. You create your environment germane, correlating to your image of yourself. If you see yourself as unworthy, if you see yourself as somebody who has nothing to contribute, then you will see reality presenting that to you as an experience. And not because there's some divine intervention or this is a metaphysical thing, but because of a primal truth, a truth that many seem to negate because of this world of duality, of opposites, that the mind is actually reality. The mind is actually matter. And when the mind is not observing reality, and this is actually proven in double slit experiments, I've spoken about this as well, that when you're not observing reality, it's in superpositions. It's basically potential energy, and it's everything and nothing until you decide to look at it and give it form. You give matter form, you give it structure by looking at it, merely by looking at it. And this is also your mind involved in filtering what it is that you see. So we cannot see purely without the mind superimposing itself and interpreting it based on its own perception of that object. And this is actually quite funny because I was working retail shop not so long ago, and my manager basically told me a story. He was at a party with some friends, and one guy claimed to be a magician, and he pulled out a spoon, okay, and then he said, with the power of my mind, I will actually bend the spoon. So the guy looked at the spoon, and then it literally started bending, okay. And my manager actually showed me a picture of this, and it just reminded me of a quote that's actually in the Matrix movie, in which Neo was going to visit the Oracle, and there was a child there meditating, and he was moving the spoon, and Neo sat down close to him and asked him, how is it that you do this? And then the child basically told him that, do not try and move the spoon. Okay, he gave the spoon to Neo and told him to try it, but he told him this, that do not try and move the spoon. That is impossible. Instead, realize the truth, that there is no spoon. And then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, but it is only yourself. Just think about that. That just by you being there, you are creating the image of a spoon. Thus, you can recreate that image of the spoon if you but knew the truth, that your mind is reality, your mind is matter. And for matter to be known, it has to be perceived. If it is not perceived, matter is not known. Remember, it's vibration. Vibration only translates into matter. Vibration only translates into experience when the mind is involved to perceive it and interpret it. So this also can be understood in this way, which can actually cause you to be a bit uncomfortable, but let me just break this truth to you. Everything and everyone is subservient to your attention. Let me say that again. Every single thing and every single person is subservient to your attention. When you're not observing that thing, when you're not observing that person, they mold back into the substance of dreams. What I mean by this is this. So let's just say you have your friend over, or you have anybody else over, and you're talking to them, you're conversating with them. They appear to be very real, it's unquestionable. They appear to be an objective reality. But think about this. When you say goodbye to your friend and then they disappear into the distance, they literally then become an image in your mind. They're no longer existing in your immediate experience. They become an image in your mind. They become the same substance. They literally become the same substance as dreams and memories. They mold back to that because in essence, that is what the world is. It's illusionary. It's a dream. It's a concept. We're not really seeing it as it truly is. The mind is actually the dream trying to make itself appear to be real. Let me say that again. The mind is the dream trying and attempting to make itself real. There is no collective There are no other minds. Whatever you impress onto your mind, you are impressing into the collective mind. And whatever you're impressing on the collective mind, you are impressing onto the physicalness, the material of the universe. So once you understand this kind of level of thinking, that the mind is matter, then you realize just how much control you have over your reality. That if you want to control your reality, and I don't mean control as in you make every single circumstance happen the way you want to happen, but influence it. If you want to influence reality, understand that your mind is senior, that your mind is the one that is on top. And if you want to change this, you got to change this. You cannot change the physical world if your mind has not been altered first. Alter your mind first, and you will see that the universe, the physical world, will demonstrate that change to you. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to this. This is actually a video that I can go in depth explanation on this. If you'd like me to do that, please comment on this. Please like, guys. Please share. Please subscribe. And to end it off, as I always end it off, for those who seek no more, for in the present we find it all. Thank you very much, guys.